Okay, episode 2 of season 2 of The Last of Us. Strap in for this one. Quick disclaimer, I know this is going to be a controversial episode, but please keep things civil and realize this is my own opinion. Also, spoiler warning since this is a pretty big episode for the story. So we kick things off with a flashback of Abby at a hospital, finding her father. Being familiar with the game, this scene typically comes later on in the story, but as kind of expected, they wanted to give more context and justification for what's to come from Abby, so they added it here. We then get some dialogue of Abby's group planning to raid Joel's camp, but then we also find out that the rest of the group aren't fully on board with hunting down Joel. There's a lot of good scenery in this episode, having large landscapes of snowy mountains. We have Jesse and Ellie team up on patrol until a winter storm forces them to go inside, where we get more backstory on Eugene, who's the therapist's husband that was mentioned in the last episode that Joel killed, setting up Joel once again as kind of a bad guy. Abby winds up abandoning her post and waking up a horde of infected, and we get the scene of her up against the cage fence with all the infected there, her about to get bit before Joel saves her just like in the game. However, there are some differences here in the show. We have Joel who's with Dina instead of his brother Tommy, and this horde that Abby wakes up goes and attacks Joel's camp, killing a bunch of people. So Abby's kind of indirectly killing a lot of people in this episode. Abby winds up bringing Dina and Joel back to her camp to supposedly help bring reinforcements to Joel's camp, but we know it's really just to lure him in and kill him. We get a pretty lengthy fight scene here of Tommy and others defending their camp against the infected. Tommy himself fights the boss bloater infected and barely kills it with his flamethrower. He winds up running out of fuel during that fight, and then he walks away and pulls a gun out. I'm like, dude, why didn't you use that against the bloater when you really needed it? There are some pretty cool visuals in this fight scene overall, but we also get some pretty rough ones in my opinion. Like we have the dogs who are let loose and attack the infected, which doesn't look the greatest for me. Also, maybe I missed something, but why are the dogs only attacking the infected? They're like super geniuses and then no, only go after the infected. Abby's crew winds up knocking out Dina, and we mostly get the same content from the game of Abby shooting Joel and then torturing him. I didn't love Abby's acting here personally. It felt like her switch from good to evil was a little bit too dramatic, and it came across as overacting a little bit. And once again, here we have most of Abby's crew look pretty conflicted in this moment. We then have Ellie charge in there and see Joel get killed. Instead of getting smacked in the head with the club again, we have Abby stab it through him. I guess maybe she hit Joel in the head so many times that the head of the club broke off. We then have Ellie crying and yelling that she's going to kill them all. I didn't love her acting here either, and plot-wise, this never really made sense to me that they just let Ellie go, despite her threatening all of them. And then we have the episode pretty much end with Jesse showing up and them just dragging Joel's body back to camp. Giving this episode either a negative, neutral, or positive rating, I have to go negative here. I knew Joel's death was coming, so it didn't shock me, but it was still a bummer to watch. I get the whole circle of violence and everyone has their own story message, but I still think there's better ways to tell that without going for shock value. So those are my thoughts. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. And make sure to subscribe for more Last of Us review episodes all season long. Thanks.